Saturday's Better in Green Live. We have NFL playoffs resuming today with two honestly great games, two of the better games taking place this Saturday. We have a full slate of college basketball with a couple ranked games that me and Ethan are going to touch on as well. But basically, like I say every single time, this is for me and Ethan to pick each other's brains, try to find what we like for the weekend, what we like for today, seeing what bets we hate, seeing if we agree on anything, and kind of just, like I said, going back and forth and trying to find some winners, and if we're cautious about some bets, trying to find some losers to stay away from. And also, for you guys watching and listening here, please let us know in the comments. Help us out. And if you have questions on some games, if you have a bet you really like, please let us know and tell us briefly why. The more knowledge and the more information we get, the better. So I'm looking forward to this day again. I'm honestly very excited for the NFL. I've turned into quite the Buffalo fan now that my my Lions have been knocked out. So Buffalo has a fantastic game today. That's at 4:30 Eastern time. They're at Denver. They're a slight underdog in that game. And then for the nightcap on Saturday Night Football, we have the Niners at the Seahawks. Another game I'm looking forward to. I know that's the biggest spread of the weekend. I think that game is going to be much closer than what they're indicating there. And then, like I said, full slate of college basketball. So I'm excited to dive into it. Ethan, welcome. I know both our boys play today, both out west as well. Michigan's playing Oregon. Your Spartans are playing Washington. So excited for that. But Ethan, how are you feeling this weekend, and how are you feeling about the NFL playoffs as well as a couple college basketball plays today?
Couldn't really say it better myself. Turning into a huge Bills fan, which I've liked the Bills now for multiple years as, a bandwagon fan. I like Josh Allen and Dawson Knox and a lot of those guys. But yeah, every playoffs I'm rooting for Buffalo. And obviously this year with our Lions out of it, Buffalo becomes the clear favorite for me. The Rams too. I still like Stafford. But yeah, huge game today. I've just been finding myself I can't keep myself off commenting on people's idiotic posts. So now I'm going at it with Broncos fans, and I'm going at it with Bears fans, and every team that I'm not supporting, I'm basically going at it with. Mostly those two because they're a little bit fraudulent. But yeah, it's a big game for Buffalo. Again, I know we're against the Sharps on that game, and we'll get into it, but I like Buffalo in this game, and I think this is an easier matchup for Buffalo than last week, and we'll get into all that. But yeah, really excited for the two games in the NFL. Loaded college basketball slate. Probably going to be my biggest college basketball card of the season so far. So excited for that. Excited for Michigan State. Wish they played a little bit later in the day. I'm going to be kind of in and out during their game, so a little bit disappointed there. But yeah, big game for both of us in college hoops. Out west, great NFL slate. A lot of NBA and NHL that I don't think we'll necessarily touch on today. It's just a lot going on with college hoops mainly, and just haven't had the time yet to really dive into NHL or NBA. But loaded slate all the way around. As always, follow me on Twitter X at eBainbridge26. I'll try to get everything posted as I make those plays. But big day today.
I love it. I have not locked in anything yet. I've had a frustrating week where I've been close on a lot of bets, but just haven't been hitting them. So I have a decent amount stocked up for this weekend, and I'm kind of desperate to find some winners. So nothing locked in yet, but I'm expecting a pretty big card, especially in the NFL today. For me, I'm pretty much in love with player props, so I'll have to. I don't know what they are yet, which doesn't help you guys much, but if you guys do have props, let me know. But let's start with college basketball because that is what's kicking off or tipping off earlier here. And I'll let you kind of control this since I think you have a better read on college basketball and I've dove in a little bit more than I have. But a couple good games at noon. I know people are liking Minnesota at Illinois. I'm ultimately not going to take that one. That's a pretty big spread. But what are you liking in the early slate or creeping up into that mid afternoon slate?
Yeah, there's a lot of decent games on for viewing pleasure at the noon slate. We have UConn and Georgetown, Georgia Tech, NC State, Butler, Seton Hall, Kentucky, Tennessee. That's probably the best one. Um, Minnesota, Illinois, Virginia, SMU. I don't have a ton. I'll quick touch on Kentucky and Tennessee since that is kind of the marquee matchup. I do lean Kentucky plus the 6.5, and I gave out over on our website bettergreen.com in our free betting little section that we have over there. I gave out Kentucky minus the points against LSU. I think I gave out minus 4.5. They had to come back from down like 20 in that game, had an unbelievable buzzer beater. I don't know if you ended up seeing the end of that game. It was like the Christian Leitner uh, deep full court heave turnaround free throw line 2-pointer for the win there. But yeah, crazy game, crazy comeback. I think that builds confidence in them, which I said I thought beating Mississippi State built confidence after losing 2 games in a row. But now they've won 2. That was kind of an improbable fashion. And then Tennessee, um, just don't love the spot for them. They're off a double overtime win against Texas A&M. Could breed confidence for them, but just a lot of extra game played there, and had to fight out a tough win against A&M. They also have Alabama and Georgia. Quick little road trip on deck against 2 ranked SEC opponents. So I'm not going to bet Kentucky because this team is very boom or bust. But plus 6.5, I think that's the right side there. And I know there's a boost on FanDuel for those looking. But the one play I do like at the noon slate, and that I'll probably end up betting, but we touched on it last time we were live. I like SMU plus 2.5 against Virginia. A little bit of our little system play there, but what scares me and what we touched on last time I think we were live is, or I think it was in our college basketball show. I've stepped in front of Virginia when they were on the road against NC State. NC State was the unranked favorite. Virginia blew them out of the water. I know we both liked Louisville on Tuesday as the home favorite against Virginia. Once again, Virginia, they won by 9, but they controlled that game from start to finish. So I'm a little bit nervous. I didn't have Louisville in that game, thankfully, but I'm just nervous to step in front of Virginia. It just seems like a team that's winning at will. But I do think the spot here is good for SMU. Like I said, Virginia off the win on the road against Louisville. They're on the road at SMU, and then they come back home to face North Carolina, 14th ranked currently. Although that game is not until next week, Saturday. So they do have quite a bit of time in between. SMU, they also just had an improbable win. They hit a half quarter to beat Vatech on Wednesday. So that snapped a 2-game losing streak. They're on the ropes of having a 3-game losing streak. But I think that probably breeds some confidence for SMU too. So I like SMU plus 2.5. That is probably, I was about to lock it in before the show, and then I said, let's just wait, see what Wyatt has to say. But I like SMU. Kentucky, probably my best lean. Other than that, don't have too much at the noon slate.
Yeah, unfortunately, no capability of betting that Virginia game, but I would lean SMU if that helps you at all. Just basically because of the system. Kentucky, Tennessee, I don't have anything on. I'm seeing some people siding with Tennessee in that game, but it's just not something that I'm super intrigued about. I'm seeing a couple decent games at the 1 and 2 p.m. slate. We have Alabama, Oklahoma, Iowa State, Cincinnati, a ranked matchup between Florida and Vandy. Between those 3 games, I'm seeing some people on Vandy. I don't know if I love that since they are just a 1.5-point favorite at home with 1 loss against a 5-loss Florida team. Seems a little fishy there, but I'm seeing money and bettors that I follow on Vandy in that game, but it's not something that's really exciting me much. And then I do have a play that I'm probably going to lock in and probably lose at 4 p.m. On the money line. Hear me out. But do you have anything in between there or any thoughts on those games that I just talked about?
Um, okay, before you give out your money line play, I want to go see if I can sniff it out. But yeah, I don't have much as far as what I'm going to play. I would lean Florida in that Vanderbilt game, and
Yeah.
I think people are looking at Vandy saying, 'cause they just lost. They got boat raced by Texas for their first loss of the year, and I think people are just saying, "Oh, they're not going to lose 2 in a row. They're back home." But Florida is starting to get hot. Their last 3 wins: Georgia, Tennessee, and at Oklahoma. 3 really nice wins. They blew out really all 3 of those teams. So Florida's turning back into what we kind of expected coming into the year as the defending champ. A lot of transfer guys, so it makes sense that they took a little time to gel. Florida's probably, well, they are the better team, I think, in this matchup. So I would lean Florida. But I also don't necessarily want to go against Vandy after a loss. So I'll probably sit that one out, but it wouldn't shock me if Florida wins that by like 15. Um, yeah, other than that, Iowa, Indiana, that's a tough game because both teams are on losing streaks. Both teams really need something to go their way. So I'm interested in watching that game, but yeah, again, I don't know which way I'd bet it. I'd maybe lean Indiana. I'm just not that sold on Iowa. And I think that's really it. I'm forgetting. Yeah, no, I don't want to go against Iowa State off a loss, especially with Cincinnati, although that line does feel a little bit fishy. I think the last one I'll touch on is a 2:30 game before we get into your 4 o'clock.
Okay.
I do like Grand Canyon plus 5.5 against Utah State, who just made their way up into the rankings. Um, and really, my reasoning for this is Grand Canyon, a newcomer into the Mountain West, obviously a team that's had tournament success over the last few seasons, and they don't get many opportunities to host a ranked opponent, really ever in their history. I'm sure they have a time or two, but very rare ground for them. As of now, Utah State, the only ranked team in the Mountain West, the only ranked team on this schedule for Grand Canyon. And I just think entering the Mountain West, they obviously know how to step up in competition when they play in the tournament and have had some nice upsets and some close losses as well. I just think 5.5 points at home for this GCU team is too many. I think they really come to play against Utah State. And then, always kind of looking to fade those teams at the back end of the rankings, the Utah States, the Seton Halls. Usually they're one and done in that range. So I do like Grand Canyon plus 5.5 quite a bit. Probably will be a play that I lock in. I'll send it back to you. And I think the easy play would be, you're not going Oregon, are you?
No.
Okay.
No.
The way you said it, I didn't know if maybe it was a huge dog. Is it
No.
Georgia?
No, it is not.
Okay.
It's in the Big Ten here. And it's gonna, I think
Northwestern.
it's gonna be Northwestern on the money line, upsetting number 8 Nebraska here. I mean, I hate this line. What is the 5.5? Where's that coming from? Northwestern's a 5.5 point dog at home. Nebraska, number 8 in the country, 17-0. Northwestern's 8-9. They've lost their last 4 games. Nebraska's coming off a 35-point win against Oregon. Northwestern, 4 losses in a row. 11-point loss to Illinois, 2-point loss to Rutgers, 10-point loss to Michigan State, 6-point loss to Minnesota. I mean, what are we doing here? Not too sure, but that line is way too short. It opened at 5.5. It's staying at 5.5. The bets are pouring in on Nebraska. I think it's Northwestern money line. Big Northwestern's going to knock them off. I mean, it's just a matter of time before Nebraska gets knocked off. I mean, they're good. They're probably a top 25 team, but they're not an undefeated. They're not a number 8 team in the country. They're bound to get knocked off. What better team than a bunch of big whiteys in Northwestern to do it to them? So, yeah, I'm honestly probably going to lower to a half a unit, say screw the spread and just half unit Northwestern money line, see what happens. Maybe I can find a boost out there, but I don't know. I think it's my gut play. I kind of in love with it.
I like it.
I just don't really understand the line. I don't know. And
I like
Northwestern's pretty damn bad, but
have the leading scorer in the country,
do they?
Nick Martinelli.
Wow, I love it even more.
Yeah.
Who was their guy like 2 years ago? Boo
Boo
Booey.
Booey. Yeah.
What a name. What a
Yeah.
name.
Yeah. I agree. I'll one thing I'll quick touch on. I think the spot is nice for Northwestern. You just lost to Illinois, which is a ranked team at home. You have a chance to take another stab at a ranked team. They have not won in the Big Ten yet, so what a way to get your first Big Ten win. And then after that, they have to travel for their out west trip, USC and UCLA. So, yeah, I think there's some major urgency. I mean, I think at this point they're pretty sure they're not going to make a tournament spot, but start winning now, anything can happen. So, yeah, I think there's some urgency for Northwestern. Like I said, Martinelli, top scorer in the country. He's better than I think anyone that Nebraska has outside of maybe that rank, whatever that kid's name is. Yeah, I might take the 5.5 there. I don't. People have been watching us forever. They know I don't have the balls that you do to lay the money line, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna look more into that game. I do like Northwestern.
I just pulled up DraftKings stats. Again, DraftKings super public book, so not a whole lot of data here. 97% of the bets on the money line, 83% of the bets on Nebraska spread. Line has not budged from 5.5. I mean, what an easy little minus 250 money line parlay for Nebraska there. I mean, that's gonna be everyone's. Pair that with the freaking Seahawks. Nah, people don't do that, but I don't know. Minus 250, throw it into a little money line parlay. I think people are going to jump. Yeah, I think Northwestern's going to ruin some people's days, and hopefully I can catch it. But yeah,
This is always the time I mean, we just saw with Iowa State and Vanderbilt. This is always the time of year where these undefeated
Michigan.
these
Yeah,
teams pick up a loss. It's very hard to win in conference play,
yeah. And now
especially
after
on the
like
road.
a couple weeks in conference play, getting banged up a little bit, traveling more. Yeah,
Right.
don't
And
have
now you're
10-day
hunted for
rest.
sure.
Yeah,
Like
now you're in a
everyone's
top
looking,
10
when do we
team.
play Nebraska? And Nebraska, I mean, yeah, they're good. I think I said it a week ago, maybe two. I think their ceiling is like maybe Sweet 16,
Yeah,
maybe. I think one tournament win is like very realistic for them. So yeah, I don't think they're that good. Um,
and yeah, I mean we've lost to Nebraska a little bit. We had Indiana. When that game was played at Indiana, Indiana was up by like 10 at half, lost by 20.
we're up 16 in the second half,
Yeah,
15 minutes left. Ohio State.
Ohio State, we were on. I mean, people are still, and rightfully so. I mean, it's Nebraska; they're not a historic program, but the market's still trying to catch up to Nebraska. So I get it's a smaller spread for that reason. But I mean, come on, the Ohio State team was a 3-loss team. The Indiana team was a 4-loss team, and this is Nebraska or Northwestern with 9 losses, 4 in a row in conference play. I mean, it's just not even the same caliber. And 5.5. I mean, oh yeah, I like Northwestern quite a bit. Probably my
Yeah.
favorite college basketball bet.
Yeah, I do like that.
Again, take it away if you see anything else. Moving forward, we have another ranked game between Arkansas and Georgia. We have a decent nightcap ranked game between BYU, Texas Tech. Your Michigan State Spartans play Washington. My Michigan Wolverines play Oregon. I have been betting the last 2 Michigan games, lost both of them, so I'm kind of done with that shit. Do you have anything else you're liking in college basketball?
Yeah, really quick, just one last thing I have to say because I just went and looked at it for that Nebraska game. This is Nebraska's first time being the favorite on the road. So they're good at covering as a dog on the road. Now that you flip, make them the favorite, add that extra pressure. I'll be on Northwestern plus
Okay,
5.5. I
let's
like
go.
that.
Let's go.
Yeah, I do. I know player props are hard to come by, but at this point, if you've been on our website or really listen to me talk about Michigan State anything for the last couple weeks, Jackson Kohler over 1.5 threes. MGM almost always has it at even odds or higher. And the discrepancy is crazy. FanDuel is probably going to open that like minus 150. So you got to shop around. You got to get plus money, but he's hit this now he missed it. He went 1 for 4 on Tuesday, but I think he's hit in 8 of 11 maybe, or something. He's hit in a lot of the last few games. Just a really good, he's shooting over 50% from 3. I mean, it's kind of just a bet and forget type deal right now with Kohler. So I like him. A little worried about being on the road. The last 3 have been at home, but I mean, he's hit this plenty of times on the road this year. So yeah, I like Kohler over 3s. I'm also going to lay juice minus 190, but I think it's worth it. Cohen Carr under 0.5 threes. I think at this point, Izzo's like, hey, no more. They're not good. Yeah, unless like the fear with that is he's wide open and hits one. But even then, he's like 20%. Or if the buzzer or if the shot clock's winding down, he has to throw one up. Other than that, I don't know if he's even going to attempt one unless it's one of those 2 situations. So I'm going to lay the juice with minus 190 on Cohen Carr under 0.5 threes. And then I think the only other game, well, we have BYU Texas Tech. If that was football, I would be laying it with Texas Tech. I think I still will lay it with Texas Tech. One other kind of off the wall game that I'll just quick mention, and that'll be the last one. I like Santa Clara minus 1.5 at home against St. Mary's. Santa Clara is in the role that St. Mary's was in like 3-4 years ago, where it was always Gonzaga. Everyone knew Gonzaga, no one knew anyone else, and then St. Mary's becomes a target. Now everyone knows St. Mary's and Gonzaga. They don't know anyone else in this conference. Santa Clara is this up and coming team in the conference. Everyone's going to look, see if they can get a 1.5 with St. Mary's, a team that people know that they recognize. They're 17-2 currently, tied atop the conference with Gonzaga, and Yeah, no one just really knows Santa Clara, but they're very good, 15-5 on the year. I've been not betting them, but I've been following them fairly close throughout the season. Very good team. At home, favored by 1.5. I think people are going to come in on St. Mary's. So, yeah, I think Santa Clara is probably the second best team in that conference behind Gonzaga. So that's a 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Yeah, like I said, I'll tweet out all my plays, but definitely gonna be on those 2 player props. I've already locked in Kohler. Um, Probably be on SMU. Gonna be on Northwestern. Probably gonna play Santa Clara as well. Uh, Georgia, Texas Tech. I mean, there's a lot in there that I'm probably gonna end up on. So gonna be a big card. But yeah, I'll try to post that all out.
I love it. I'm excited to see your college basketball picks. I'm probably just gonna be on the one, unless I really want to lose money in Michigan. But it's probably gonna be Northwestern. I might just take both spread and money line, maybe even first half. I don't know. Also, speaking about that West Coast Conference, it's a shame my little San Francisco Dons kind of fell off a little bit. They were a team right behind Gonzaga and St. Mary's a couple years back.
Yeah.
I think remember they gave Gonzaga a run for their money, but yeah, it's usually just a 2-team conference, so it is nice to see a little bit more competition there in Santa Clara. Because it's just boring when it's just Gonzaga and going undefeated, St. Mary's going undefeated. They split when they play each other.
Right. I do like San Francisco too, which I still
Yeah,
think they have a shot to make. I mean, they'll finish 4th in that
yeah,
conference.
yeah.
I do quick just that, but gotta talk about Michigan State. I've been trying to put out a separate video for all these Michigan State games. I'm not going to get to it today, so I'll just touch on it. I would be very cautious putting Michigan State in a money line parlay. Went out west last year when they were on that absolute heater. You know, they won all those conference games in a row, but they did drop both games out west. So I do think they're going to be a little bit more prepared going into this game against Washington, but this is the tougher of the two. I think there's a chance they split here. They could lose tonight, beat Oregon on Tuesday. Oregon's just imploded this year. I don't know what's happened to them, but yeah, I would just my lean there is Washington plus 3.5 points. Line's fishy, as could be too. But I'll be on those props. I won't play the spread, but I would just be cautious if you're just clicking Michigan State into that money line parlay with Nebraska because not that easy.
Yep. Yeah, I'm kind of out on the I'm in on the player prop parlays just because you can get the early exit if all hell breaks loose. I can't do any game parlays anymore. It's too much for me to hit when I'm 1-17 on straight bets this week. Imagine hitting 3 in a row on the same bet. It just seems so far away. I think I might have lost you there for a sec. Oh, lost Ethan. 1 second. We are going to transition into the NFL shortly here once Ethan hops back on. So just give us a second here. Apologies. Oh, he looks like he is back. Can you hear me? Okay. Yes, sir. Ethan is back. Let me just plug him back in here. No problem.
Little dinosaur popped up on my screen. No internet. Not sure what happened.
No problem. We are back. No problem. Yeah, so let's transition into the NFL. Again, 2 games today. Very excited for both. I feel like I have good reads on them. Yeah, I think it's just a gut. I think it's a gut weekend. So we'll get into it. But Bills, Broncos, Niners, Seahawks. Let's start with the 4:30 Eastern time. Bills, Broncos. Broncos, home team, number 1 team in the AFC, had a first round bye. They are a 1.5 point favorite. Over under this game is 45.5. I will say I haven't even looked at weather this weekend. I know people are, oh my God, talk about fights in the comments. How many people are going to say Stafford and McVay can't win in the cold? Caleb Williams couldn't win in the cold for 4 freaking years in college. Now he's just immune to it. Like, oh my God, it's so annoying. But that's Sunday's game. Supposedly it's supposed to be pretty cold in Chicago, but I've not looked at the weather this weekend. But let's start Bills, Broncos. We just brought our we have our show out. I'll break it down in the divisional round, and honestly, none of my opinions have changed. Maybe in Texans Patriots, but I am so high on the Bills. I think this is a much easier game, like you said, Ethan, at the beginning of the show, than Jacksonville. I think it's downhill sledding from here for the Bills to make the Super Bowl. I think they're going to fight like hell in the Super Bowl to win that, and you add it on the Buffalo curse in the Super Bowl. That's going to be a whole fiasco. But I really can't see a world where Buffalo's not winning this game. And I know it's public, I know it's square, but I don't think people like. And I know we can't talk about the storylines, but this is Buffalo's year to make the Super Bowl. I mean, if it's not this year, it's never going to happen. It's never going to freaking happen. And I know Ben brought up a good point about um, maybe it was a bad thing Buffalo lost because they have to endure McDermott for a little longer. I don't think he's a fantastic coach. He might be holding them back a little bit, but I mean, God, just this is Buffalo's year, and I'm not sold on Denver at all. I couldn't be lower on Denver. I actually did a power rankings. I saw you did a power rankings as well. I forget what yours were. Um, I have Denver as my seventh out of the eight teams in the power rankings, only behind the Bears. I have both the Texans and the Patriots above Denver. Obviously San Fran. I know me and you are both high in San Fran, but I'm just not sold on this team. I mean, you have Drake. Oh, sorry, not Drake. Man, you have Bo Nix. You have Cortland Sutton, who's very hit and miss. You have two other wide receivers that just don't do much. You have RJ Harvey, who's fine, but he's not great. He's not James Cook. You have Evan Ingram, who's not even a Dawson Knox. I mean, their defense isn't as good as we thought it was going to be. I'm so high in the Bills. I'm really trying to reel myself in and not throw multiple units on Buffalo money line.
Yeah, I like Buffalo. And we've talked about this game what feels like endlessly on air, off air, but yeah, it's just so you mentioned it, I mentioned it. We're on the public side. No doubt about it.
Yep.
Sharps like Denver. Sharps liked Jacksonville last week. You know, Sharps liked all the wrong sides last week. Sharps are mostly math guys, you know, and some of them know the ins and outs, I think, of the sport. Most of them probably don't. They just crunch their numbers, you know, shows the Broncos should be a favorite at home or a bigger favorite at home, and boom, they take the value that they see on the line with Denver. I just think there is so much storyline that goes into the NFL. And, you know, for me, this could be a rock fight. It could be a back and forth, low scoring, ugly type of game. I do not see a world where Denver wins this game by separation, which means you're going to get Josh Allen either up or down with the ball late in the game. I trust him to break apart that Broncos defense, which is good. They're not great. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're not Houston. They're
No.
not, you know, Seattle has a better defense than what Denver does. And their offense is so weak. I also have them seventh in my power ratings there. I'm just not bought into this team. The only thing they have going for them is coaching. They have a coach who's been there, done that, but that's been over a decade ago. I mean, God, almost 2 decades ago at this point. So, yeah, I'm not bought in on Denver at all. Um, I see them kind of where Houston has been, where they're getting there constantly with Bo Nix. You know, CJ has never missed the playoffs with Houston. I think they're a team that consistently gets there, that compete in their division, but they're just not there yet. I think there's just a lot that holds them back. And yeah, I think Buffalo. You know, I think that game last week was so big for them. Get the monkey off their back of the team that couldn't win on the road. That was a terrible matchup for them. And yeah, I just think this is an easier matchup. It's a team that they already played in the playoffs last year, which I know typically I'd look for a revenge spot there, but I just don't see it. Also, yeah, I don't think McDermott's like the best coach in the world. I do like the guy though. Like
Yeah,
just as
I
a
did too.
person,
Yeah.
really like McDermott. Yeah, I just don't know if he's the best in game. But yeah, I like Buffalo here, and everyone's going to say they have all these cracks. Their run defense, they're banged up. Their receivers, they got Curtis Samuel back, by the way, which is huge for this game, and Ed Oliver on the D line. So yeah, I like Buffalo quite a bit. I have a hard time seeing them lose, and I can rest easy if I lose a bet, and you know, saying okay, I didn't see that coming. So I'll take Buffalo. I like them. Also, before we get into the next game, just to touch on weather, I tweeted out earlier in the week, but I really got thinking about weather because people act like you said, like Caleb Williams is just all of a sudden like a snowman because
Yeah.
he has lived in Chicago for 2 years. He plays in Chicago. It's nice in Chicago majority of the season. It's not like these guys practice outside daily in January. And if they are, maybe it's like a day or two before, and the Rams are probably doing the exact same thing. You know, it's not like people act like these guys live in freaking igloos.
Yeah.
all season long. Like Caleb doesn't like to play in the snow anymore, and Stafford doesn't. Like none of these guys like to play in below freezing temps. No one's comfortable in it. Everyone dresses warmer. Like it's so blown out of proportion that these northern teams play better in the snow than some of the southern teams. So yeah, I don't think there's too much to that, but it always gets just blown out of proportion.
Yeah, I'm probably the worst person to talk about weather because I'm so far on one end of the spectrum where I believe weather doesn't even exist. Like I'm at the spectrum where I don't even look at weather reports because it doesn't freaking matter. The only person I'll ever fade in the cold because I think he's a PUSSY is Tua Tagovailoa. That's the only
Yeah,
person I'll ever fade in the cold. Matt Stafford, sure, he might not like the weather. Sure, he played in a dome in Detroit. He's played in multiple snow games. He played in that freaking snow game in Philly. He
yeah,
played in the snow game last year in the playoffs at Philly. I was talking about the Lions snow game back
yeah,
with Calvin, but yeah, you know
yeah,
what I was saying. Snow game last year in Philly where they almost won that game against the Super Bowl champions. And I mean, it's Stafford. I know as of late he has not had a great track record in the cold at the Rams, but this is a guy that just plays through everything. We saw him in Detroit play through broken collarbone, dislocated shoulder, throw game-winning drive or game-winning touchdown. Like this guy, he's the it factor. And again, a thing that Vegas doesn't, or the sharps don't take into effect is the it factor with, like, for example, a Patty Mahomes or a Josh Allen. I also have some player props in both these games. I don't know what they are in right now, but I will 100% be betting player props. I'm looking at all three Buffalo tight ends to score. I'm leaning Dalton Kincaid receiving yards. Seems like a lot of Broncos games they allow multiple leading receivers are the other team's tight ends. So maybe Dalton all the way up to 100. I love Dalton quite a bit today in receiving yards. But yeah, Dalton, Kincaid touchdown. I like Dawson Knox touchdown. And I do like Jackson Hawes or Hayes touchdown sprinkled in there. And then as for Denver, I'm leaning maybe one of the speedster wide receivers to score. I know I've talked about that quite a bit. Either a Troy Franklin or a Marvin Mims, maybe a sprinkle there. But let's move on. I'll tweet those out. Hopefully, let's move
really
on
quick
to go ahead.
before we get off the weather thing. I just want to quick say that I do think that is like NFL I'm talking about. I think college, like USC heading up to the big house in December, that's a little different.
Yeah,
But also NFL, the resources these guys have nowadays, like yeah, back in the 70s, it probably mattered.
yeah,
These guys are fine. Like,
yeah.
you're on the
Heaters on the
field.
freaking sidelines.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're hyped up. I
yeah.
saw Stafford. I don't know if that tweet was real or not. I woke up to it that he was potentially going to wear scuba gear
Yeah.
under his uniform. I don't know if that's real or not, but these guys are fine.
It's blown out of proportion.
Yes, they have the adrenaline. They're on the field running around. Like they're fine. But
Yeah.
yeah, just had
Such,
to
such a
mention that.
sorry excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, moving on to the night game, we have the Niners at the Seahawks. Is it still 7-point spread? Sorry, I don't.
Yes.
Yep, 7-point Seahawks favorite. Over under is 44.5. Again, they blow some of these injuries out of the water as well with the weather. I know Stafford's a little banged up. He's completely fine. People are saying Darnold is hurt. Darnold is fine. If Darnold was hurt, this wouldn't be a 7-point spread. So immediately you're an idiot if you believe that. Darnold's fine. Even so, though, me and you, I think we're way higher than everyone else is on San Fran. We're forgetting they are one game away from being the number one overall seed in the freaking NFC. So yeah, I'm on San Fran. I would not be surprised if San Fran wins this game outright. I think this is San Fran all day, even though it is once again very public play. Nervous about that for sure. And Kittle out. I know we talked about this a million times. That doesn't really change anything. It hurts kind of, but I mean, they find ways with just whoever's out there. That's what San Fran does. Whoever is suiting up, they're going to play and they're going to succeed. So I'm high on San Fran. I do like Tongs or Tongus, whatever his name is, the backup tight end now. That's the starter. I know he is the most bet player on receiving yards, which scares me, but I do like him to score. He scored already that first game in week 1 at Seattle. He scored in that game with Kittle. So I like him to score. San Fran loves their wideouts. If you want Christian McCaffrey to score, I don't hate it. I had a big old bet on that last week, but I think he's played 9 consecutive playoff games with a touchdown, so hard to disagree with that. But I'm all over San Fran. I think they win the game outright.
Yeah, I think McCaffrey has scored in every playoff game he's ever played in, and he's only minus 120. That's for me. For me, it's I just already know if I jump on it, it's going to lose. So I'm not jumping on it for
I will
those that
not.
want
I will
to.
not put 240 on that like I did last game.
Right. Yeah, it's
Maybe it's just a $24 bet.
yeah. It just seemed I almost tailed you last week. But I'm like, I know the second I do this, it's
It
not even
was.
my way. And it was
It was a sweat. He
that was
ended
a
up with two,
I
but I
know.
think both were in the fourth quarter. One was on a pass from Juwan Jennings, and the other one was whatever, little pass over the middle. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
a sweat for sure.
It was because I was watching for you in that, and it was the sweatiest easy cash ever. Like looking back at the box score a year from now, you're like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, I did too.
dude, that
But
catch too, like hell of a
yeah,
snag, hell of a throw,
yeah.
hell. And Juwan Jennings got rocked, but yeah, I thought that was going to go through his fingertips for a second there. And
Did
then
you
there was a
see
flag on the
Jawan?
play, which scared
Yeah,
me.
yeah. I thought it was coming back. Did you see Jawan's high school recruiting, like who he was ahead of as a dual threat quarterback?
No,
Dude, he was ahead of like Lamar coming out of high school. He was ahead of Sam Darnold. Um, uh, some of the other guys in that class.
damn.
Can't remember, but yeah, he was like the one of the top quarterback recruits. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I have not locked in San Fran. I'm really debating. My fear with San Fran is I think they are if not one of the most public bets of the week. But I also saw at plus 7.5 they were a sharp side according to that one guy Patrick Ewers or no, what's his
Yeah,
name?
I don't know.
You yeah. Um, my fear is the Sharps just they did get killed last week, and that typically doesn't last 2 weeks in a row. I do think they're going to get beat again in the Buffalo game, and it does worry me that Seattle could be the side here. But yeah, everything in my head points San Francisco. I think I'll be the one to say it, and if people are listening to this, if people watch back on the replay, they're going to get in the comments and say I'm absolutely nuts. I think Kittle out is a positive for San Francisco, slightly, because I think it plays fully into the injured player theory. I think you're getting line value with him out. I think he is as big. He's probably bigger to that team's like rah-rah, like mentals than Brock Purdy is. So I think, he's going to be in that locker room getting these guys hyped up, getting them ready to go. The thought of potentially getting Fred Warner back if they do win this game, divisional game where we know anything can happen. They've already won in Seattle. They're incredibly comfortable playing in Seattle. They have the experience. They have the coach. They have the experienced quarterback. They have Trent Williams healthy or more healthy. Yeah, we talked about this too. I think it was off camera, but San Fran's trajectory this year was this team's banged up, they suck, and the next thing you know, they're like sitting at 12-4 or wherever they're sitting. They beat the hell out of the Colts on Monday Night Football before Christmas, and everyone's like, "This is the Super Bowl team. This team's incredible." And then they lose one game on the road to Seattle by 10 points, where given they did not look good in that game. But then all of a sudden it's just like, yeah, this team sucks again. And I just don't understand it. Everyone was off them against Philly. Everyone is clearly off them in this game. I just do not understand. To me, they're still as live as anybody to win the Super Bowl. Wouldn't shock me at all if they win here in Seattle. So, yeah, I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this game. I'm definitely not taking Seattle. I'll tell you that much. I'll probably end up on San Francisco. Don't know if it's going to be a full unit play or maybe just a smaller sprinkle just to kind of have action. But yeah, I do think it's San Fran, keeping it incredibly close or, probably winning outright or having a shot to win outright late, or maybe Seattle in a blowout. So I think it goes one of two ways. I like San Fran though.
Yeah, I like it quite a bit. Again, I didn't you what was San Fran's odds to win the Super Bowl before the playoffs?
Better than I think what they are now. I think they were 16-1, and now they're like
Right.
20-1.
I don't, and they won against at Philly, and now they're down 400 points of value. Like I don't know.
This is the same type of game as Buffalo. Like I feel like that first game was the one they had to get,
Mm-hmm.
and they both got it, and now it's like they're all San Fran's almost free rolling at this point, which is scary. Cleveland
Yeah.
or Carolina was free rolling last week. Um, yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah. I will say also, we didn't mention both Denver and Seattle on that bye, which historically, I don't know the exact data, but I know it's not a, I don't really think it's an advantage. I think, honestly, think it's more of a disadvantage. Again, I don't know the statistics are out there on teams having that first round bye, how they do in that first game. Obviously, we have a lot of one seeds win the Super Bowl. We had the Chiefs win the Super Bowl for multiple years as a one seed. The Patriots done it for a long time, but they had quarterbacks and teams with Super Bowl and playoff experience. Both these teams, Denver and Seattle, not a whole lot of playoff experience. Sam Darnold, 0 playoff wins. Bo Nix, 0 playoff wins. So it's a little different formula than when the big old powerhouses in the good old days were the one seed and kind of walked to the Super Bowl. These teams are there without experience. They've been thinking about this game for 2 weeks now. I think that's a huge disadvantage. So again, be careful about those buys. We also saw with the Lions last year in that first round bye. That's really obviously sticking with both of us. But do you have anything to add before we sign off here?
Yeah, really quick. Just I appreciate this guy commenting on our post. Watched one of our shorts that was posted the other day and left us a comment on it. And, we went back and forth a little bit. And I really appreciate him taking the time to comment. But he did tell me that, I tried telling him that I like the spot for Buffalo better. Getting that big win already, I think that carries a lot of momentum. And I don't like the Denver's been sitting. Denver, to me, is kind of like a Lions team last year where you need to keep going. You need to keep winning these games, building that momentum. And he just told me that none of that stuff matters. And don't be I make my living in the NFL with stuff like that.
Yeah.
I
You're a big
couldn't care
spot
about the
guy.
X's and
Yeah.
O's. Yes. I don't really care the statistics too much behind. It's all spots, situational for me, a lot of the NFL. So, you know, I hope he knows that that stuff does matter. And for everyone else listening, that stuff really does matter. So, yeah, I think Buffalo is in the better spot, even though, if you're sitting at the bar tonight, everyone's going to say Denver off the bye. That's the better. Going into the bye is your good week. Coming out of the bye, not profitable typically. So.
Yep, I completely agree. Well, thank you guys for hopping on. Ethan, thank you for hopping on and picking each other's brains here. Hopefully, we have a successful Saturday. Go Bills, go Niners. Hopefully, we can win some college basketball bets to add on to there. We may or may not be live tomorrow, but we do have 2 other divisional round games tomorrow that not looking forward to as much as today, but still very exciting games tomorrow. Go freaking Rams. And then a very tricky matchup in those Texans Patriots. If you do want those breakdowns, and if we don't go live, those are available over on our YouTube page, Better in Green. And also, if you guys are interested in more sports betting and sports predictions, make sure you guys do check out our YouTube channel there and give us a subscription if that's something you guys are interested in. It greatly helps us continue to do this. Wow. But we appreciate you guys. Good luck today, Ethan. Good luck.